Good morning and welcome to the NBA Daily, presented by Amazon Prime for February 2nd, 2026. I'm Dave DuFour here with Zena Keita and Baraheni. Coming up, the Thunder get a big win over the Nuggets, even though Jokic was back. We're going to talk about that. The All-Star reserves are out. Who got snubbed? And we're going to talk about some trades that happened over the weekend. Good morning, everybody. What's up, guys? Hope you had a good weekend.
Good morning.
Morning, Dave. How are you? Happy Black History
I'm not
Month.
too bad. Heck of a game we got last night. At least the matchup, right? The Thunder looked pretty good. They pick up the win 121-111. Guys, this was a game where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander came out looking like he was trying to seal the deal on the MVP award.
Yeah.
And frankly, I don't know. He might have. He dominated the Nuggets. I mean, every single time they had blankets on him, guys, and he somehow was still hitting shots. Hit a ridiculous shot from his butt. And this guy, he was on another level last night.
He also, what I love most is that while he was providing assists and also finding his own shot, it was just his gravity was on display, right?
Yeah.
Just how many guys he pulled, which allowed Case and Wallace to go off, which allowed Isaiah Joe to get those open threes. Like, that to me is another way you showcase why you are the most valuable player on your team or in the league, is just how much attention you draw and how much you open up just by existing out on the court. It looked like he kind of wrapped up those three letters. I don't know. We might have to give Jokic a little time to get acclimated. Exactly.
It's not that long left, though, S. And
no, you're
look,
right.
Jokic, he missed a bunch of games.
Look, you don't
and
have
that's
to convince me that SGA should
win.
win MVP. You know, so.
That's true. I believe that's stamped in the passport, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But anyway, so he had 34 points, 13 assists. And you know, to your point about the gravity, the Thunder were 19 of 48 from three. And
that's the point.
We hit this, right? All these teams with the math problem. And they did the math last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it worked for them.
Yeah.
They had more threes than the Nuggets did. Hit them. And a lot of that is, I mean, Shai could average 10 assists a game, but they don't hit shots like this often.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Case and Wallace, who knocked down 7 threes tonight. He was
Insane
awesome
game.
As a release valve. Like, every single time Shai was finding someone, it felt like it was Case and Wallace for three. And then overall, as you mentioned, Zena, the bench guys, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, knocking down threes. To your point about the gravity, I think that gravity is always on display. It's just the shot making on the other side of it isn't. And so when they go 19 of 48, when also they take more threes than the Nuggets, that is a big equation too. Like, actually actively taking the shots, finding them, getting quality looks. That's the big thing for OKC. And you saw them. I know they're missing a lot of creators. Andrew Schlecht will remind us of this constantly. No AJ Mitchell, no Jalen Williams, etc. But I think it's very important. This is how you show OKC can be one of the best offenses in the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the release valve being Lou Dort is, nobody wants to see that.
Right.
And so, you know, you think about it, when they start to get some guys back, Dort's maybe not out there for some of the higher leverage minutes. Obviously, his defense is important, but man, the shooting last night was the big difference for the Thunder. For the Nuggets, look, Jokic comes back. He has the great 31-point game against the Clippers on Friday, and frankly, didn't look as good in the game last night. Wasn't as aggressive. I mean, and Jokic does this from time to time. He only took 2 shots in the first half. He came out a little bit more aggressively in the second half, but this is one of those games where I would have loved to see him come out and try to set the tone by being aggressive, looking to score, because this is the most powerful offensive weapon that maybe we've ever seen in the NBA. And I don't think the rest of those guys find their rhythm in big games if he doesn't come out aggressively.
They tired him. You saw, Lou Dort was battling with him down low, but then it was also the fact that OKC was doing what they do. They sent Kenrich Williams to the boards, Isaiah Hartenstein to the boards. They were battling on the O boards. That fatigues you. And that's what I think I saw a lot in Nikola Jokic. I mean, we know that he's not necessarily the best defender. He's not someone that's just going to be, rolling out on the ground to get balls. But even with Chet Holmgren getting those top of the key threes, even the closeouts were just kind of slow
Right.
and not there. And so you could tell that he was fatigued early in this game by just how hard OKC crashed the boards, and then also how hard they fought by sticking Lou Dort on him for multiple possessions.
Yeah. They pestered him the entire time.
Yeah.
It was like, it was like bees, let's just send 2 or 3 guys at him at a time, hit him hard. I mean, I thought that it was extremely effective because they don't really have anyone who can bang with him. I mean, Hartenstein can a little bit, but when Jokic decides he wants to turn and use all of his girth to get to the basket, it's just impossible. But I thought that they caught him early as before he can get to that drop step and get the turn on the shoulder. And by sending guys from different angles, I mean, they had a couple turnovers there that were uncharacteristic Jokic turnovers where it looked like they were ripping the ball from him. That just never happened. So,
6 turnovers for Jokic tonight. That's the big number that I look at and I'm like, whoa, what happened there? And you think ultimately the fact that he couldn't catch it in the post, to your point, pestering him. And then I also think it's a fact of, he took 9 shots. Part of that is they weren't able to get him the ball as frequently as they could.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, OKC is the number 1 defense in the league. Part of that is how good they are at the point of attack. Those post-entry passes were a lot harder tonight than what you would regularly see, even against the Clippers the other night. So I think that's the big thing. And also, he looked gassed. He looked tired. I'm not going to knock him for that though. He's been out
this
for a
is
long,
second game back. Yeah. His cardio obviously is not where it usually is, where we're used to seeing him. A couple of things to note, right? So the Nuggets, they're down 3 starters. No Cam Johnson, no Christian Brown, no Aaron Gordon. Peyton Watson had 29 points, but a lot of that, in my opinion, guys, there's going to be teams that make him prove it.
Yep.
Is he really this shooter? And he was 5 of 7 from 3. But the numbers to look at, to me, are the Jokic and Murray numbers. Held him to 16 points and 12 points, respectively. Murray was 4 of 16, 1 of 8 from 3. To your point, S, about that point of attack defense. Like, they bothered both of those guys.
Absolutely.
And I think if you're the Thunder, you just say, hey, look, if Peyton Watson can give you 29 a night against us in a playoff series, we're going to watch him do it. I would love to see it. Can these other guys beat you? Because it seemed like they figured out a way to take away that 2-man game. Like you said, just they were hitting those guys early and often. They're able to switch so many guys up top on Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
And none of those guards can get pushed around in the way that Jamal Murray typically can do to point of attack defenders in the NBA. So I don't know. We've been talking all year about how once we get to the playoffs, we don't know what's going to happen because the styles are going to vary. The Thunder right now, like if they can repeat this, they look like they've got the best shot at being able to handle the Nuggets. I'm not sure what the Nuggets look like when they get it all back together.
Yeah, I want to see both these teams healthy because this felt like a little appetizer compared to what we might be able to get in the playoffs when everybody is available, and that includes both sides. Like I thought, even though SGA had an incredible game, you still want to see the second side actions from Jalen Williams and how they look. Obviously, with Chet Holmgren taking a step offensively, it's like, how does that all match together? And to your point, if Peyton Watson is this guy, I think that's always a good problem to have if you're Denver. But it's how do you incorporate that within the system of Murray and Jokic? And can we still win basketball games when he's scoring 30 and we still have these other guys that we have to get involved?
Yeah.
I don't feel like, one thing I'll just say about Peyton Watson is that a lot of the times, especially early in the game, like you saw him, and he's done this for several teams now. A lot of his buckets come from a team goes zone, he goes to the middle of the paint, gets the nice little bunny.
Yep.
Right. What I love about Peyton Watson's game, for the most part, he doesn't need the ball in hand in order to create offense, which I like what you're saying as like, it's a good problem to have. If he can get to 29, if he can get to 20 points and most of his buckets are just coming from, you are the only open option in this, zone offense, or you're the person that's the kick out on the drive. Great. We don't have to have a ton of you dribbling.
You don't have to run plays for him.
Exactly. So that's what I like about Peyton Watson's game. But what we also love about him this season is that we found out he can dribble if we need to. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
And that's great.
It's absolutely absurd how fluid his dribble is now compared to what it was even last year.
Yeah, he had one finish that I just don't think he had in his game last year. In this game. Yeah, very impressive season for him. All-Star reserves came out yesterday, guys. We'll get to the snubs in a second. Let me list them off. For the Eastern Conference, Scotty Barnes made it. We kind of nailed that one. Jalen Duren makes it. Jalen Johnson, Donovan Mitchell, Norm Powell, first-time All-Star, Pascal Siakam, and Karl Anthony Towns. For the Knicks, in the West, Denny Avdia, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, LeBron James for the 22nd time, and Jamal Murray. Little bit controversial here, guys. Kawhi Leonard not making the All-Star reserves, I do believe, is a controversy. Kawhi got snubbed here.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think
100%.
we all are on the same boat. I mean, you have a career high in terms of points scored, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's averaging a career high this year. Yeah.
Career high in that, steals per game. Like he was this resurgence behind the Clippers. Kind of, they were going off a deep end clip, like just a cliff dive. And Kawhi started picking things back up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the Clippers are going to come and take over the West, but Kawhi is playing superb basketball and absolutely deserved to be in the All-Star conversation and to be an All-Star. The issue when it comes to snubs is when I'm like, if you snub someone, who do you take out?
Well, let me answer that question for
Enlighten me.
Yeah.
Look, man, I love that he made it for the 22nd time. I think it's awesome. And ultimately, we can go tit for tat here.
It's a game for fans.
I really don't want the LeBron James haters to come at me. Ooh. One of these posters in the back is LeBron James. I am a LeBron James fan, okay? But we have to be real here, all right? LeBron has played less games than Kawhi Leonard this season.
Yes.
Okay? He's averaging 21 points. He's obviously not the same guy he was defensively in his past. That's a given. And Kawhi this year, 27 points. Like you said, the steals are there. The Clippers' defense is better when he's on the floor. He is, over the last 20 games, averaging about 30 points a game. He is clearly a part of the resurgence of this team. And I think he's just very simply had the better season. Now, I agree with the Lifetime Achievement Award that LeBron James is getting here. I'm not hating that. I remember when I was a kid and Michael Jordan got it and Vince Carter had this whole tit for tat about who's going to start. Can you sacrifice your starting spot for Michael Jordan? Shout out to Mariah Carey in the Michael Jordan dress.
Yes,
you guys all
made him cry. Love that.
Yes, made him cry. I remember that. But I understand. I'm just putting it out there. If this was all fair and just, Kawhi Leonard would be in the All-Star game.
He's probably going to make it anyway. Right. Is that into it? It's probably going to make it anyway because, as we know, they're going to name 5 more people to the All-Star game by the time we get there.
That's true. Yeah. And no Giannis.
Giannis isn't going to make it. So on the Eastern squad, which, by the way, they announced these East and West, even though there's various teams, America versus the world. Again, your guess is as good as mine here. I assume, I don't know where the Giannis replacement will come from.
Right.
My guess is it's Eastern Conference, since that's how they announced it.
Yeah.
But he's obviously a world player.
So would it have to be an Eastern Conference world player?
Does Joel Embiid count for that? Because I think Joel Embiid has a pretty strong case for making the All-Star game this season. Joel Embiid is
a snub already, like without even, you look at the East guys and I think all respect to Karl Anthony Towns and the Knicks winning and Pascal Siakam has had a really good year with the Pacers, but I think you could make valid arguments of Embiid over any of those two guys. And not to say that those guys don't deserve it, but there is at least a case for Embiid to be in this conversation. Embiid in 28 games this season, which is about half of the Sixers games so far this year, is averaging 26 points. Over the last little bit, we've talked about it. He's starting to play 30-plus minutes a game. He's had multiple 30-point games recently. He's looked like an all-star. It just depends on if you think the availability is enough compared to some of these other guys that have been more available and healthy.
It's interesting.
Anybody else that
the conversation for both Kawhi and Joel has been availability versus production. Yeah.
Anybody else we left out that maybe had a case, an outside shot?
I'm shocked, S. I am shocked you have not spoken about your guy.
Brandon Ingram.
Like,
see,
what?
I think there's it's a tough case, and I already did a video about this for Raptors Republic, but I think it's a tough case for BI just because His efficiency is down. The turnovers are a little higher. So when you look at his role in comparison to some of these other guys, the box score numbers aren't there. But in terms of sheer impact, it's no doubt that a scorer like that has really revitalized the Raptors. I mean, he's a big reason why they're top 6 in the Eastern Conference. He is a snub. It's just, who do you take out for him? That's the question you have to ask. And I don't know if he has as good of a case as some of these other guys. Maybe he ends up being the replacement player. Who knows?
Yeah. It's wild that there's not a single Clipper that's going to make the All-Star game.
James Harden had a case.
James Harden had a case. Kawhi had a case.
They're 16-4 in their last 20 games. Like, that's impressive. That's a turnaround. They're chomping at the bit to get within top 8. And so,
well,
it's unfortunate.
Guys, we were told that the aspiration investigation would be wrapping up after All-Star. So hopefully they're not catching multiple L's around the All-Star break. Guys, stick around. After the break, we're going to talk about the Keon Ellis trade. It is trade deadline week. And before we talk about the trades that happened over the weekend, I just want to send out a plea. John Horst, the Milwaukee Bucks, please do not trade Giannis until Thursday during the NBA Daily Trade-a-thon live stream.
There you go.
I thought
YouTube.
You were going to say don't trade him at all. No, trade him.
Please, if you're going to trade Giannis, save it for Thursday during the live stream. Guys,
preferably
join the Discord.
After lunch.
Yes, that's right. Let's take it out to the deadline. Join us over on YouTube Thursday. We're gonna be in person in our Chicago studio, having a great time. Hope you guys can join us. Obviously, we'll put out an episode immediately after the deadline with a compilation of what we've got. I think John Hollinger is going to be on the post-trade deadline episode, so check that out. Guys, we did have a trade. I'm calling it the Keon Ellis trade because he's the best player involved in the trade. The Cleveland Cavaliers send DeAndre Hunter to the Kings for Dennis Schroder and Keon Ellis. The Kings send Dario Saric to the Bulls and a couple of picks. The biggest thing here, look, Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroder, they're going to help the Cavs. The Cavs have missed Ty Jerome. They could use another guard. Keon Ellis, it might have been the most valuable trade asset on the market if you just look at the value of his contract and how little he was playing and how much teams feel like they could get out of him. The Cavs are going to save about $50 million in salary and tax penalties. So you can see their real motivation here to do that. Go ahead, guys. Give me your thoughts on this trade for the Cavs and the Kings.
I will start now. This is the most Sacramento Kings trade of all time.
Insane.
What are we doing? Like, Kangs is fully back in. You know, it's just Kangs Nation at this point. And I can't believe it because they helped the Cavs save money. They got themselves deeper into the luxury tax. And they did it for, in my opinion, your opinion, maybe Zena's opinion, a worse player in DeAndre Hunter. And now they have Keon. They've let go of Keon Ellis, which, by the way, like, why did that not work? Why did the Keon Ellis thing fail? If he was such a sought-out player where 10-plus teams, according to multiple reports, are interested in Keon Ellis, why did that not pan out in Sacramento?
We're going to have Sam Amick on the show this week. I'll ask him because it is odd that this guy just couldn't seem to break into the rotation. Zena, they don't really have that much talent.
They don't. And it's kind of funny when you kind of laid this out. You talk about the Cavs. Shout out to the Cavs. Great trade.
Good move.
Great move for the Cavs. You get, the Darius Garland out. You get somebody that comes in and Dennis Schroder helps your second unit. That's awesome. But then also, you mentioned Ty Jerome. Person I was thinking is Isaac Okoro, right?
Yeah.
Like, they miss the 3-and-D from Isaac Okoro, in my opinion. And so that's what I think Keon Ellis is going to be able to plug in smoothly in that role. But yeah, this, I can't explain what the Kings are thinking. Because not only did you mess up your present, you messed up your future for what I think the entire league has seen, that DeAndre Hunter that we saw in Atlanta and that moved to the Cavs, even last year, what he was doing in the playoffs and at the end of the season, we have not seen that DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah. No, we really haven't. Yeah.
So everyone has seen this problem. And so for the Kings to be like, we're too far on the West Coast. we seem to have like missed anything towards the middle of the country. I don't know what it is, but alas, have at it, Kings.
Apparently, the Kings are really looking forward to the DeAndre Hunter, Keegan Murray duo. They're going to build around those two guys.
And Nick Clifford is going to be there and getting playing time.
Yes, maybe he's getting more minutes. So we're going to see how that goes.
I think they have a lot more. I guarantee
they're
this
moving
isn't
a bunch.
The first
I do believe
transaction.
That we're going to see a fire sale there. Yeah. The Hawks make a trade with the Blazers. Vit Krejci is moving to Portland. In return, the Hawks get Duop Reith and 2 second-round picks. Reith is out for the season. He had surgery on a stress fracture in his foot. Atlanta might waive him to open up a roster spot. It would allow him to convert Christian Koloko's 2-way contract. So it basically, this is like a little bit of a bookkeeping move for these teams. I don't know. Krejci, I don't know if he helps them or not. I mean, he's a good shooter. They could probably use some shooting up there, but it just feels like Portland already has a lot of guys that need minutes. So I'm not sure if this is much of a trade.
Yeah, I like Vit Krejci in general. I thought he was good for Atlanta, so I'm surprised that they were willing to trade him. I think ultimately, like, he had stepped in, obviously a good 3-point shooter, was kind of this jumbo playmaker for them at times off of the bench. And so maybe Portland could use a little bit of that.
John Hollinger is going to move to Portland, I think, because this is like one of his favorite players. You know, anytime Vit Krejci does anything,
apparently
we
he was
know
a love
about
guy in the Hawks locker room too. So I don't know why they. Yeah,
I really think that anytime a team gets a product of OKC, it's a good thing, right?
Sure.
These are guys that can come in, plug in, and we've seen that in Vit Krejci. What I actually love more than anything is the bookkeeping move. Because I've been a fan of Christian Koloko since he was on the Lakers. Like I don't know if you guys remember that he had that blood clot condition.
Yeah.
He was on the Raptors. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like I feel like we never quite got to see what his like rookie year was going to be and what he was capable of, but he was heavily hyped as being this like really, I think what they want DeAndre Ayton to be at the Lakers now, this is what Christian Koloko was has been.
You are breaking the hearts of Raptors fans right now. I'm just
saying, I am a fan of Koloko, and I think that this is a really, really solid move for Atlanta. They haven't had this type of big that can move in the pick and roll and finish above the rim. Obviously, they lost Capella, so I think this is a nice ad for them. For sure.
Oh, this is exactly what, because you know who needs a big who can do exactly what you just described.
And they thought they were,
And they thought they were, there you go.
And guys, we had a PED suspension in the NBA, which does not happen often. Paul George going to miss the next 25 games. He'll be eligible to return March 25th. We don't know what he took. I was hoping it was going to come out that it was something kind of funny. Maybe, one of these guys taking protein shakes that they don't know about. But it does seem that, he said he took something to try to self-medicate for a mental health issue. Whatever it may be, this suspension oddly helps the 76ers.
Wild. Yeah.
They are going to save $6 million in taxes. And then the other thing is, does this not guarantee you Paul George being healthy for the start of the playoffs?
That's true. Yeah. They get 10 games of regular season Paul George before he gets to the playoffs. So it's like perfect timing for him to return. It gives them more flexibility to convert some of those contracts that we've talked about before because those guys were contributing, Don Barlow, et cetera. And I think, if you think about it from the Sixers perspective, they're sort of a well-oiled machine at this point at the wings with Kelly Oubre and Barlow. And they just have a lot of options there already. Paul George was sort of this additive guy, like a $50 million elite role player,
right?
But they're going to miss that. But I don't think they'll miss that too much. I think they'll be okay. They'll win their games. And for Paul George, it's just kind of like, if he can come back and be the same guy he's been so far, good. If he can't, then I think Philly is still going to be okay without him, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's even less about, Philly and Paul George and his ability to come back and be able to contribute. For me, I think about more long-term. This is 25 games for PEDs. Like, does this impact his Hall of Fame conversation? Does this impact his overall legacy? I'm very curious. Like, I after
I
seeing
think
the whole,
he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
too.
Yeah.
I just I am just wondering. For example, Bill Belichick is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Right.
First ballot Hall of Famer, right? Like, do these type of things have an impact at all? I don't
think this will. I mean, if it came out he was taking HGH or something that we know is a direct performance enhancing drug, then you might get some of that. But it's also, I mean, it's basketball. It's kind of like it's not baseball. It's not football. It's not a sport where I think we traditionally think about steroids, being a huge advantage or even being a huge problem. Although it may be. I hope not. Don't know.
I'm with you guys in your response to that. I hope it isn't something like that. But because it's so rare, I'm just curious. Does this have this impact?
But I don't think it's going to have any effect whatsoever.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but when I heard the news, I had a sense of this. I'm sad about this because,
Me too.
Paul George obviously has dealt with a bunch of injuries recently. He's kind of now some sort of butt of the joke, right? When it comes to playoff beam, podcast P, et cetera, et cetera. This is a tough time to be Paul George, if there is a tough time to be Paul George. So I don't know. I think we need to be empathetic and give grace.
No. And I absolutely, whatever the heck is going on, certainly empathetic. But at the end of the day, there's a silver lining, and that's for the Sixers. They're saving all that money. And for Paul George, look, you're going to be healthy going into the playoffs for the first time in a long time. So, hopefully the Sixers, he comes back and everything. They don't miss a beat. That's kind of the trick that they have to figure out. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Don't forget, like and subscribe, all that jazz. Set up the alert so you know when we go live on YouTube. We're going to be live Thursday. We're skipping the morning shoot around on Wednesday. We go on live Thursday all day long. I think we've got 40 guests for the trade deadline. So going to be very intense. Come and hang out with us, please.
For Zena Keita, let us know who we snubbed or we snubbed in the All-Star. Because I feel like we forgot names too. So let us know.
Probably.
Be mad.
Michael Porter Jr. was not on my list of snubs. I'll just throw that out there for our Nets fans. For Zena Keita and Baraheni, I'm Dave DuFour, and this has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for waking up with us.